Who do you guys want to be? I want you guys to ask yourself this question as much as possible. Because by asking yourself this question, it makes you imagine the ideal version of yourself, the person you want to be, the person who is disciplined, who is on point, who is always striving towards their goals. Because in life, we have two choices. The first choice, choosing to live by our emotions, only doing the things which actually matter to us when we feel like it. You know, when we're in the mood and we're all psyched up, but eventually that feeling fades. And that's where you need discipline. And that's what discipline is. That's option two. Two is choosing to live by discipline. It's not choosing to live by your emotions in the moment. That's the feminine way of living. It's choosing to do the things regardless of how we're feeling. Regardless if we're tired or energized, happy or sad, or even in pain or relaxed. We always do the thing we need to do regardless of any of them circumstances. We could be in pain, sad, and unmotivated, but we still do it. And that's the art of discipline. So if you feel like you relate to this, you feel like you're in one of them like times right now where you're just sad, you feel like your life's got no purpose, where you feel like you've just got no energy, discipline will save you. But the thing about discipline, only a few minority of people actually want to live this way. And the only reason why most people don't live this way, even though it's life-changing, is because it's uncomfortable. It brings up uncomfortable feelings, such as fear. And trust me, there's a lot of fear along the way. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of caring what people might think, fear of embarrassment, fear of time wasted, money wasted. But along this journey, we learn things in life what are so important. We learn things which takes people decades to actually learn about themselves. Let me explain this. We all have an ego, all of us to an extent. Some people's ego is more insane than others, but everyone has an ego. And there's nothing wrong with this. This is normal human nature. But the problem with the ego is that it tells us that we have the discipline to do something. Oh yeah, I'm disciplined, even though you might not be disciplined. It brings up delusions in our head. And our ego tells us, well, most of us anyway, is that we could do anything we put our minds to. And the ego kind of gives you an excuse not to do things. It gives you an excuse not to be disciplined, because it tells you you don't need to do it because you're already up there when you're not. And then when you actually try this thing, when you actually try to learn discipline or try this new thing, or actually takes a lot of effort, you start to realize that, oh, I'm actually not good at this thing. I'm not as good as I thought I was. And you get humbled. But hopefully that makes sense, that how the ego makes us comfortable. Let's just say comfortable. Because in a society now where we're more comfortable than ever, then the ego emphasizes this comfortability in our lives. It makes us think that we've got everything handled, that if we really put our minds to it, we could just do it. And this creates no fear in our lives. It creates no tension. This fear of loss of time, this fear that we're going to die. That's what the ego causes us from realizing. Because we believe, oh, just give me a year and I'll become a millionaire. And then you just procrastinate, and then you learn no discipline along the way. And then when you finally do realize, oh, it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be, it's too late. I feel like I'm waffling now, but here's what I want to talk about. Main lesson I've learned from discipline and doing the things that I don't want to do is that everything in life doesn't come as easy as we think. You have to learn to fall in love with failure. You have to want to fail to get better. Like, most of you guys won't understand this, but most of you guys will. If you've ever tried something new, something what's just like different. Like, for example, me, I'll give you my example. When I started a YouTube channel, here's me thinking, oh, my first video is going to be great. Me posting my first video, I thought it was amazing. I thought it was the best video. But if you scroll down and watch my first video, you can see the difference. And that's the art of discipline. It's being able to improve. It's being able to come back even though my videos are getting 0 views. That's discipline for you. And that's why you need to discipline yourself into something which humbles you daily. Something which makes you not want to come back, but you come back anyway. Because that's how you cultivate discipline. I feel like I'm saying discipline like 100 times, but it's the main focus of the video, it don't matter. Back in my day, I was once like people who chose option 1. I would let my feelings guide my actions. I would let fear guide my actions. I'd let this fear stop me from being my authentic self. This anxiety of what people might think if I show like a weird side to me. And this is because I had this fear of people's opinions. I would always care about people's opinions. But as I grew up, in just the past year, I've grew up in a year, I feel like. I've realised how all these things were staining my soul. They was making me miserable just because I was not being my authentic self. I was afraid of what people might say. So I'd procrastinate. I would avoid this thing just out of this fear. And then I learned discipline. I learned discipline in my mind, teaching myself that no matter what, I would always come back, regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of what someone said. Understand this as well about discipline. It's not something what some people have and then others don't. It's like a muscle. It's a muscle we can all develop. We just have to work on it. If you're able to change your perception about discipline, able to change your values, so then you realize what you value most in life, the discipline will naturally come to you. If you're able to see all the things, if I don't do this, if I don't be disciplined right now, what are the consequences of my actions? If I don't do this thing, will it help me live the life I want to live? I know most of you guys know that discipline is all a mental thing, but there's some of you guys who still believe it's, oh, he just has the genetics for it, or he just born that way. No, he cultivated it. So any person you see who has discipline, who goes to gym 5 o'clock in the morning, who works endlessly throughout the day, who never takes breaks, they've cultivated it. They wasn't born like that. An example of when my mind was very undisciplined, an example of when I was literally just stuck in one way of thought, but I had to discipline my way out of it. I had to convince my way out of it. And this thought was, well, I'm tired. I just did a 9-hour shift and I went gym at 5 in the morning. So when I get home from work at 5, I should, no. I shouldn't do anything. I should just relax. I should order a Domino's and a Ben and Jerry's. No, bro, no. And when I just realized the emotional part of my brain was telling me this every single day, just giving me excuses not to do things because I've worked hard, I had to elevate my perspective. I had to rise it up. I had to see it from a different perspective because I knew this mindset wasn't right. I can't be eating 25 sugars a day, consuming junk food and watching Netflix, just consuming. It's not how we're made. We haven't evolved for that. We've got so much potential. All of us do. But we waste it on these covetous things. And it's a shame. And I hope you guys are making the full of your potential. I hope you're trying to impress your parents. I need you guys to stop valuing the idea of relaxation and pleasure over achieving your goals. Because you don't want to look back in 30 years and then just regret everything. It's sad. It is sad. I know I don't want to pressure you guys, but it is generally sad. Because I see you guys have so much potential, but you just waste it. You guys are so smart, but you tell yourself you're not smart. And I don't even know, man. I'm getting too emotional with this shit. But just let me tell you this. These short-term pleasures you most likely indulge in. Don't get me wrong, I indulge in them time to time. But don't let them be the only thing what's actually valuable in your life. Don't let them control your life either. So if you was like me, what I used to do, where I disciplined myself into thinking when I'm tired, I should just be comfortable, then do what I did. Just elevate your perspective. See all the consequences of just being comfortable. Choose discomfort over comfort any day, every single day. Stop valuing the present over the future. How you do this is by asking yourself questions like this. If I let this short-term pleasure be my main priority, will it help me live the life I want to live? And if you want to do something what requires discipline but causes you tremendous amounts of fear, ask yourself this: will I let fear control me, or do I control fear? That's a rhetorical question, if anything. We all have this ability to control our fears. I'm not going to get into fear because that's a completely different topic, but if you guys want to see a video on fear, I'll be talking about how fear, you'll never get rid of it, but it will always be there, and how to master it. I'll give you guys tips, and I promise you, you'll feel fear. I won't promise you won't never feel fear again, but you'll be able to deal with it. It won't impact your performance when doing something. That's for another video anyway. Make sure you comment down below if you want to see that. Last thing I want to talk about when it comes to discipline, and what I always remind myself of when I don't want to do a certain thing, is the thought of death. Remember the shortness of life. Remember how there's so many people who had so much potential, but they wasted it. Wasted it indulging in pleasures, living in the comfort zone, as their potential and capabilities slowly withered away with age. Remind myself of people like Ziz, who died so early on, but created a legacy because he decided to be his most authentic self. He decided to live life to the fullest. And that's what got him so famous. And a legend in the gym community. Please guys, you have potential. Now, before I carry on with what I'm saying about the potential part, let me just say this. You're most likely average. Because I know there's loads of motivational speakers like, you're special and you're this, but the reality is you're most likely not special. And this is a deep thing to like ingest. But once I ingested this, I realized that you need to let your ego go. You need to stop thinking you're grandiose of life. Grandiose means you think you're larger than life and that you have supreme intelligence or other things to everyone else. You need to let go of this idea. Understand that you're most likely going to be mediocre unless you cultivate discipline. I guarantee you, if you work day and night, take little breaks, I'm not saying don't take any breaks because that's insane, but take little breaks, you will get far in life. It's impossible not to, because hard work always beats talent. And what is hard work? Discipline. Don't settle for mediocrity. And finally let go. Let go and join the other side of being disciplined, of being fearless, of being on point, and striving towards your goals. Because then I promise you, once you cultivate them 4 things, you will win.